Hi, this is Tom with Culture Chap. So today I want to talk to you about a play called Nana's Naughty Knickers. Nana's Naughty Knickers. It is a fantastic play. 5 women, 3 men. One of the 3 men could be a woman. It just depends on what you want to do. That part is a UPS person. There's 2 of them. Could be a woman if you want. The the premise of the play is that someone's granddaughter, I'm forgetting all the names right now, but you don't need that right now. So there's the grandmother, and she's selling lingerie illegally from her New York apartment. She can't have a business. She can't break her lease. She has not paid her taxes in 6 years. There's a policeman coming by. He's very naive. He's very nice. And there's a lot of UPS visits because they keep coming by picking up packages that she's sending out. Her business is centered on servicing the over 60s. Now, I read in one review that she's supposed to be 63, but then it said she and her husband had lived in that flat for over 60 years, so that doesn't make sense. A lot of people are playing her as 63, but as a really old biddy, which I think they believe that really ramps up the humor. But 63 really isn't that old. If you want to bump her up to 83, all this other stuff makes sense, okay? And I wouldn't play her as an old biddy. She's not a wild child in the way she dresses, but she's not an old biddy either. This isn't your grandmother. This is young Sheldon's grandmother from the series. This is not old lady in a cardigan who doesn't know how to work her phone with a Kleenex stuck up her sweater. You know, that's not this character. So she does have to maintain the sort of old woman idea for the landlord who wants her out. So I've seen a few reviews where she had a walker with tennis balls on. She doesn't need to use it, but she has it handy for when the landlord stops by, who is this, of course, awful. And then she uses it. She uses that walker then. I don't think that is needed. I think a cane, one of the canes with the 4 prongs on the bottom with tennis balls on it. If you know a lot of older people, you've seen a lot of comedic stuff they can do with a cane. And I think that's enough because this show is prop heavy. All right. They basically say that she sells naughty lingerie for the over 60s. And she has a best friend who's her age who, do you see where I'm going with this? Like a lot of my other videos, there's not enough plays for older women, especially. So here's fantastic stuff. The best friend finds out about this. The very conservative granddaughter finds out about this. If you bump up the age to 83 or even 93, that granddaughter could be a great granddaughter. Doesn't matter. She's very conservative. She's coming to New York to be grandma's roommate and go to law school. And because the young cop keeps coming by to visit, they fall in love, which is nice. So I think people in other areas of the world that are doing this get stuck on the word lingerie and they're like, oh, this is an expensive show to build because you have to have all this lingerie. Do you? Or is it just sexy costumes and props? So here's what I'm saying. The bulk of the play is not about revealing sex props. There's no dildos, there's nothing like that. And what could this grandmother have that makes it funnier? It's a comedy, you need to bring it up. So, pulling out lederhosen, that's interesting. Going into your stock and pulling out costumes that you slightly alter. Maybe you cut sections out of jeans. You know what I mean? Like the butt out of jeans. And she finds out and they're cut offs. Maybe they have fringe on the bottom. Maybe you have lazy doilies that she makes into a bra. Okay? This is the kind of thing. As I read the piece, the more I thought about props, because the nature of the show also sort of demands a set that is clever, where she has all this stuff hidden where the granddaughter or the landlord won't find it. So if you're trying to keep on a budget, I think it's funnier to have more people stopping by. Now, if you're trying to save money, the cast is already slightly large, not too large, under 10, of course. But if we bring the stakes up with the hijinks of her handing these constant packages off to the UPS men, and then maybe also having clients come by with stuff and they pull out said prop, costume, whatever it is, from a bag, and it looks innocuous. Maybe it's a cowboy hat, but the cowboy hat has straps sewed inside, and then the person buying it puts the straps down to their waist. And you're like, oh, that's where you wear the cowboy hat. See, you already have this thing in stock, hopefully, and this is what Grandma has done to it. Also, props you wouldn't expect. Get really creative. Pulling out anything phallic looking is a joke that just won't last. How many times can you do that? I'm suggesting Grandma also lends her voice to some of the props. Maybe you go into stock and you have a couple of race cars. Maybe they're shoebox size and they have wheels that roll. But this item, because Grandma's been tinkering, and I highly recommend having a dining room table with stuff on it. Just lots of junk that's very obscure that anyone can look up and go, what's that? What does that do? And screwdrivers and measuring tapes. Measuring tapes, very funny, very suggestive. And hot glue guns and glitter and sequins and whatever else that you want. Plastic funnels you can get at the dollar store, at the pound store, that she's making a bra out of. Hilarious. And make the props and the costumes that she sell for women and for men. The funnier they are, the better. Anyway, so there's a car, and Grandma has lent her voice to the car. Somehow someone turns on the car and it says something sexual that's not too sexual, okay? Don't go too far. Make it suggestive. Grandma's clients are kooky. They're a bit of freaks. If they're the over 60s, they're not going to buy regular boring items, okay? Regular lingerie, like, oh, it's a bra with feathers on it. No, boring. Oh, it's a pair of high heels that are just tall. No, boring. Stuff you're spending too much money on. I'm saying the car should speak. It should say things like, ooh, the car goes vroom vroom, and have some like sexy laughter or strange laughter, or my car's got a big engine, or I'm gonna roll these wheels all over you. Do you see anything that'll bring up the humor? The writing is good. I won't say that it's, because of the subject matter, it's knocked out of the park, surprises every time. It's very good. You need to bring up the hijinks. When you look into the play, her best friend, there's a lot of I Love Lucy and Ethel moments, now that her friend knows. There's a lot of hiding from the conservative granddaughter moments, very much like Absolutely Fabulous with Adina and Patsy and Safi, who's very conservative. There's a lot of those kind of moments. It's not necessarily supported in the lines, but it's how you twist those lines. In this scenario, any innocent line can be said in any way. I remember during a Friends episode, Joey, as the actor, was saying, you can make any line dirty. You can make any speech dirty. And they're like, what do you mean? He goes, Grandma's chicken salad. Just the way he's saying it makes it funnier, sleazier, sexy. It's great. I would also add in the hijinks of the UPS people. I would encourage you to, if we've established that grandma is lending her voice to certain objects, household objects that she's selling, and maybe to just be grandma like, she feeds the UPS people brownies or cookies or something. And there's two UPS people. I suggest they both be men because this is a woman centric play. More women than men, that's good. Older women, that's good. I would have one of the UPS persons, men, have a really great voice. And when she offers a cookie, he says something slightly suggestive like, "Oh, yes, please give it to me." And then Lucy and Ethel, get an idea like, oh, he could be a vocal recording or something else. And she hands a card, she pulls out a wad of money, she whispers in his ear, "There are no lines to support it, but you could do this to bring it up. We want surprises." One of the best surprises is Heather. She has another business selling sexy things, and the name is just one letter off. Grandma's business is something slips, and this person's business is something lips. Sorry, I'm forgetting, but it's all in the description. And she is a dominatrix. Now, the way they dress her in certain things often makes her look very much like a hooker, which I think is a mistake. I think that in this day and age, people dressing eccentrically in New York doesn't really buy you as many laughs as you might think. I think that with the landlord stopping by unexpectedly and always being ready for him, that a dominatrix coming by, and I believe the package she believes was misdirected, which it was. She's looking for something in a package. I believe it's a whip. And this is not what grandma sells. She's not that lady. Hers are kookier, funner, kind of things. So if you have her come to the flat dressed completely in dominatrix clothes, I don't mean obvious. Maybe she's just all in black and she has a black trench coat on, and there's just something about her that's severe. A blunt haircut, extreme makeup. Maybe she looks very goth. This would stick out very much for grandma to be nervous about, bringing up the hijinks. She's got good lines. She's got very good lines. She's not really a threat to grandma's business. She just wants to get her out of there. Okay? Grandma running a business from her flat would get her evicted immediately. It's an illegal business. She's not paying taxes. She's doing all this under the table. She's doing mostly a cash business. This is, she's not doing the right thing. She has a cop stopping by all the time. He's a bit naive, and he's a bit distracted by the young woman, and she's distracted by him, but she could still get caught. There's a lot of stakes here if you really embrace them and not just gloss over them. Some of the reviews are saying, oh, the script isn't so good, blah, blah. And I look at the script and I go, they just didn't do it right. They're not bringing up the stakes, and they're going for what they think is obvious. Old ladies with perms in bad tracksuits with glasses all the time, on chains around their neck. That's not this lady. She's not a wild woman, but, if you have her in cool clothing, but then when the landlord comes by, she gets on an old duster, an old housecoat, and shuffles around with her cane. Funny. Hilarious. There's a lot to this play. I think it would sell. From what I can tell, it sells really well. And it sells really well in every country I've seen it in, which isn't a lot, which I think that maybe your area probably hasn't done it. The name sells itself, but you really have to ramp up the humor. It doesn't take much with this topic and this subject matter. When you look through your props and your stock, Look at it with a kinky eye and see what you can do. Again, do not have obvious sex toys or crotchless panties. Boring. Boring. It should all be surprising things that she sells every single time. Now, there's actually a lot of toys out there that are in surprising shapes. Some are just in egg form and they're vibrators. The rubber ducky vibrator is extremely popular. And if you just have a bit where grandma's altered it, maybe it has a recording or something, great. Maybe there's just a vibrating sound that sounds like a power tool, hilarious. And grandma has a remote that sounds like a car remote, click, click, that she like scrambles for a click, click, and the ducky stops vibrating loudly. Hilarious. Things you wouldn't expect. Maybe grandma is a talented painter and that egg, the large egg, like a goose egg, is painted like an Easter egg. And it also does weird things or has a voice or something. Just let your imagination go crazy. Halloween masks, weird hats, underwear with stuffed animal heads or parts sewn onto the crotch. You can just go crazy with this. This is prop heavy, especially if you don't really have the money to make your set do a lot of tricks. How many places can she hide all these things that she's selling? Because there's a lot of product going out, okay? So the interesting hiding places can get old quick. Under a stairs, in a closet, under the bed, it just will, that joke will wane quickly. So it's about the objects. What things is she selling? And again, if the UPS people are coming by, they're probably picking up packages that are already wrapped and labeled, so you don't know what's in them. If you have a few clients stopping by to look at stuff and pulling it out of bags, that's funny. They won't have any lines? Great. It's hijinks trying to get the money, get them out of there, look at the thing, ha ha ha, get them out of there. They don't need lines. It also is very curious that these people are coming in and she's like, shh, and they're like, okay. But they pull out the thing like, oh, I'm really excited. Will they say that or not? And the landlord might stop by. Get him out of there, get him out of there. Upping the stakes, always, always. This is a good piece, you should advertise it. Again, can't say this enough. You don't need to buy sexual items for this piece. You need to have creative prop people make incredible stuff. There's a lot to this piece. It's good. All right. See what you think. Everything's in the description. I have Buy Me a Coffee if you'd like to. That would really help out the channel. And please subscribe. I see that 65% of my viewers have not subscribed, which is hard to get your analytics up and your sponsors. And please subscribe. It really helps out. Okay, that's enough for today. Check this piece out. You'll like it. All right. Bye for now.